Yeah, this is the 252nd time I'm trying to record this shit. And yeah, it's because of my neighbors. They too fucking loud. And I love sitting in this shit even though it looked fucked up and shit. So yeah, the first story that I'm gonna do is the one everybody wants to hear, and that is the prison story. So I'm gonna start like this, how it happened. I'm gonna skip some details because I don't want everybody knowing my private shit and stuff. And therefore, so it all started back in March 31st, I think, 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. And before that, my sister wanted me to come over and visit her in Ireland. So I got all my shit together, got ready, got the ticket, and I was supposed to leave on the 31st. So first things first, I get a bus to Croatia, to Zadar, and therefore I was supposed to catch my flight from Zadar to Dublin, Ireland. And then my brother-in-law was supposed to come over and pick me up from the airport in Dublin. But there's always a but. So I leave Bosnia, go to Zadar, Croatia, and it was around like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I'm not sure. And I'm thinking about what the fuck am I supposed to do? How the fuck am I gonna get to the airport? Because the airport was like 11 kilometers away or something like that. So I decided to go immediately to the airport, and decided that I'm going to sit there and stay the night at the airport because my flight was due to leave on the 1st of April. And therefore I went to the airport because I was scared that I'm going to be late if I ran out of a hotel or some shit. So I get to the airport. I had a bunch of cigarettes on me, and first things first, I grabbed a coffee at the airport, which was fucking expensive. Got so many fucking coffees, drink all of that. Later, the airport closes, and I just keep going in and out, smoking, because I was like highly anticipated and shit about the trip and stuff. And yeah, spent the whole night going in and out of the airport. And then later the police approached me, asked me for my passport just to check on me and shit. And that shit stressed me out, you know. And finally got to maybe like 4 a.m. or some shit like that, and felt very tired from traveling like for 5 or 6 hours, something like that, by bus, and then getting up very early and shit, and a whole bunch of shit in my head. And I take my duffel bag that I had and I put it on my knees, and therefore I had another plastic bag that had snacks and shit. So first things first, I start munching on my Doritos, drinking the sodas and stuff, and decide I need to sleep. So I take my duffel bag and put it on my knees because I didn't want nobody stealing my shit. And I rested my head on that. So I secured everything with my body and fell asleep like that on that bench. Then in the morning, actually a couple hours later, I get woken up by people making noise and shit. And now I'm all stressed out and shit, thinking like I maybe missed my flight. I check on my phone. I figure or actually see that I'm still like about 4 hours early and stuff. And then I wait till the bar at the airport opens to go grab some tea. Grabbed a little bit of breakfast and shit, but a little. So I kill all the time, and then finally time comes. I got weigh my bag and stuff, measure it and shit, and then get the ticket, which was actually on my phone. I just had to scan it so I would get like that physical thing. So I get that done, hop on the airplane after waiting so fucking long. And I was like so excited. And then we take off, which was fucking brutal. I love airplanes and stuff. So I start chit-chatting with this one lady, and we talked about getting coffee after that. She was, I think, from Split or some shit. And the fucking conversation was interesting as fuck. It wasn't anything unfriendly. It was just a friendly conversation. And then we wanted to grab coffee. So we get to Dublin. We excited and shit, thinking we're going to grab coffee and stuff. And then she goes over to customs on the European side, and I had to go on the American side because of my citizenship and the passport I was traveling with. And there was two white Americans in front of me, and they were like old and shit. I was like excited, like these niggas gonna pass, I'm gonna pass through, everything's gonna be cool and shit. And the first thing, I come to that fucking post, whatever the fuck it's called, and they asked me for my airport. At first they were nice, and then I hand them my airport, and they give me this strange ass look, which was kind of shit, because I know my name sounds kind of terrorist to them and stuff. And then they start asking me, why am I here, and shit, and I give them all the explanations and stuff. And I'm very bad under pressure and shit. I got very nervous and stuff, which made me look kind of suspicious. And this other dude, he comes over and then he starts asking me some questions with a severe Irish fucking accent. I barely understood the nigga. And he started yelling at me. Actually, first, he kept asking me questions and shit. And later, he said something and I didn't understand him. And then the nigga started yelling at me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga's problem? Why he yelling at me? And so after quite a while, they asked me for my sister's number and shit. I give them my sister's number. They asked me for my phone to check everything was clean and stuff. And then still they decided they don't want to let me. So my brother-in-law was at the airport waiting for me and stuff. And waited even more. They tried calling my phone, but I couldn't pick up, which was fucked. I couldn't tell nobody that shit was about to go down. So there, I started arguing with them because I know they gonna put me in jail and shit and send me back, which was fucked. So they take me to that fucking thing to get a mugshot. That was my first time ever getting a mugshot. Actually, the only time I ever got a mugshot. And that was cool. Turns out I'm 6'2" or something like that. And they put me in this room and they keep asking me questions and shit. And then tell me that, like, I have to sign these papers. And I read the papers and I tell this woman, like, all these allegations are bullshit. I said, but still, I want this shit to get over with. I want to go home as soon as possible. Get the fuck out of this bullshit. And I signed the papers. And on one of those papers, it said, like, that the reasons I stated that I'm coming to Ireland is, like, very suspicious. And they have assumptions that I'm there for other reasons. And now the funny thing is, which I'm going to share, which not a lot of people know, and I don't really tell everybody, but I have a first name, a middle name, and a last name. So my first name is Kadir or Kadir or Kadir. My middle name is Abdullah, which is spelled with 2 L's, and my last name is Ali. So now everybody's going to know. And yeah, that was one of the main reasons they pressured me. I got a very Muslim name, and yeah. So, and plus I'm dark skinned, and not dark skinned, but I'm Arab looking. And so in this fucking room, they was holding me, this gay dude from Portugal. After a while, they let his ass loose, and his ass was lying his ass off and shit. And there was this Nigerian dude and this American girl. So me and the Nigerian dude was chatting and shit. It was like regular conversation. And we was talking about how that's bullshit and stuff, you know. And this American lady had her feet up on the bench and she was weird and shit, you know. And she kept like rocking back and forth and stuff. And then I hear her story, how she came to Ireland to meet some dude and stuff that she was thinking about getting married to and shit. And later she started like getting all hysterical and crazy. And then this Nigerian dude tells her like, can you please calm down and stuff? Like, it's gonna all be all right and stuff. And she starts yelling at him, telling him, like, I got PTSD. You don't know what I've been through. Some bitch from Georgia or some shit. I was like, bitch, calm the fuck down. I was like, I should knock your ass the fuck down. But I don't hit ladies. And so yeah, after quite a few hours of sitting there talking to the Nigerian dude, trying to ignore the American white bitch, and I fell asleep on them uncomfortable ass fucking seats. So later, the police comes. They separate us in two groups. Take the American ladies somewhere. Then they took all the other people somewhere. And put me in one of those fucking colorful police vans they got over there. So I start talking to the cops because I was like fucking lonely and shit. And yeah, the cops were cool guys. They asked me about my history, where I'm from, where did I get my accent from. And those were one of the rare people that know or knew where Bosnia is. And they had asked me, is it a part of America and stuff. So I had a great chat with them. Got to the prison, which was called Cloverhill, and so I stopped there. They let me light up a cigarette smoke in front of the prison gate, or actually inside of the prison yard, and then they had to take me inside and stuff. So I shook hands with the dudes after that because they were really cool guys and shit, and they felt sorry for me ending up there innocent and shit, and they handcuffed me and stuff. It was all cool. Had a view of Dublin and stuff. It was nice looking through the police windows and shit. And so I get to prison. First things first, they put us in this, I don't know how I would call it. It's like actually they put me alone in this cell that has this like a wooden bench and stuff. That's like a waiting cell or some shit, so they could process you and then take you to the real cells and stuff. So I'm there, sitting, get bored and shit. I fall asleep. It was cold as fuck. And I wake up later hearing some sound in the room. And then I wake up, there's like 6 other dudes or 5 other dudes, something like that. I wake up, introduce myself to everybody, talk to them and shit. And 2 out of 3 of them was from Eastern Europe. One was from Lithuania, and the other one was Estonian. The Lithuanian guy's name I forgot, but the Estonian guy was Alexei. And there was this dude that was from Egypt, and 2 other Irishmen. One was called Peter, and the other one was I don't know, I forgot. So first things first, we talking. Then this one dude gets cigarettes, and my cigarettes got taken away. Actually, they put it in my duffel bag and stuff, and that shit was confiscated. So I ain't had no cigarettes. So this Irish dude, he gives us all 1 cigarette each and stuff. We have a great conversation. We was like joking and shit, real manly type of vibe and stuff. And yeah, so we get food. We got like fried chicken sandwiches, and they was alright, but the bread was like fucking dry, like 2 days old or some shit. And we got a little box of milk, like half a liter. So I eat that down, chug the milk down. That tasted like fucking chalk water or some shit. Then I fall asleep again on the bench. I wake up later, the fucking cell is empty. They took everybody out except for me. Probably even forgot my ass. So I go to the cell door and I press that buzzer, and therefore one of the prison guards comes, tells me just wait 5 minutes. They have to process me, and then they came after 5 or 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. I had a watch or a phone on me because that got taken away too. And they take me to the cell with the 2 dudes from Dublin, and we chatted for a while. I was with them for 1 day, and I barely understood shit they said, because like the way movies and shit portray the Irish accent is way different than the real thing, you know. And the second day, actually the first day, we get released from our cells to go to the like courtyard and stuff, and we go out there. I meet the other inmates and stuff. I ain't talked too much the first day because I was too fucking tired and shit. And then I meet up with that dude Alexei. We start talking, half Russian, half English. I mean, Russian and Bosnian is pretty much the same shit, just a little bit of differences. And that's how we was conversing. Second day was way better. I was fresh as fuck and stuff. So the first time, the first thing in the morning you have to do is you gotta get up at like about, I think 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. What is my fucking problem? And you gotta make your bed, and your bed has to be fucking perfect. So I get up, I do that, and the thing is, you can lay back on your bed, but you can't be under the covers. So I get up on the bed, lay there, wait till they let us out of the cells. Get out of the cells. I go meet up with as many people as possible, talk to everybody, like, and shit, and go over to this table and see Alexei, this there for this Lithuanian guy. They was playing poker or some shit, and it was fucking interesting. You know, you're hearing Russians talking, and then I go over to the Nigerians, talk to them. They noticed something was up with me, that was mixed and stuff from the get-go. And then I see this blue-black nigga. The dude is like black as fucking night. Oh my god, it's getting so fucking dark. Wait, let me raise the brightness. And I approach him, and then thinking the nigga's gonna talk like, I'm the Nigerian warlord and stuff. And then nigga turns out to be the most posh British lady-like man ever. He didn't have that like ghetto London accent. He was as white as the Queen. And I was like, what the fuck? This nigga look blue-black and shit, and he talking like that. And so he tells me he was in there because of immigration or whatever the fuck. They thought he came there from Africa and shit. And yeah, he got fucked over. Therefore, a couple hours later, we get breakfast. I think it was like 8 a.m. or something like that. It was pretty decent food. And then later, I ate that. Then later, the prison guards came over and gave us bags of fucking cereal and those little boxes of milk, a little bit of sugar and shit. And I like spent all my days eating like all day long and stuff. That was fucking great. Some cereal all the fucking time. And then I lay, watch TV and stuff. So a couple hours later, they tell me that I gotta collect my shit. I gotta go to this other cell because I guess they wanted me to be with my race. So I get put in a cell with 2 other black guys. I mean, they were black. I'm fucking white compared to them. And they were from Nigeria, and I remember their names. One was named Prince, and the other one was Muhammad. And both of them were UK citizens, but they were from Nigeria and stuff. So I talked to them. Pretty fucking decent guys. They were so sweet and stuff. They were so nice. They shared everything they had. And yeah, we watched TV and stuff, and we talked about like politics and stuff, about like the differences between my country, their country and stuff. And it was fucking interesting. And one thing I found out that in Nigeria you can go to prison for being gay. So the third day, or was it the second day, but a lot later, we go out to the prison playground and stuff. Yeah, I meet up with as many Eastern European people and shit. I see this dude that I immediately called fucking Slavic Moses. And he was fucking interesting. He was back like one of them OGs back in the Soviet Union and shit, and he was like a gangster or some shit. And I had quite a conversation with him, and then he told me about how he was at Bosnia once, in Sarajevo, and in Mostar. And it was fucking interesting, you know, somebody that knows about your country real good and stuff. Like same mentality, vodka, rakia and shit. That was fucking cool. So I get done with that, and I try to figure out as like much as possible how the prison works. So I approached these dudes that were in there way longer than me. I talked to them. So first dude, I asked him like, what is he in for and stuff. After him asking me, what am I in for? And I like told him that I got convicted for murder and shit. And then I told him I was joking and shit. And he asked me where I'm from. I tell him Bosnia. He asked, which state is that? Like, oh, it's not a state. It's a country in Eastern Europe right next to Croatia and Serbia. And you don't know where that is either. Dumb motherfucker. And I asked him, what is he in for? And the nigga tells me he's in for arson. And he was this little short, weird, ginger, Dublin guy. Little Irish leprechaun looking motherfucker. And he tells me he's in there for arson. And funny thing is, the dude burnt a live fucking cow. And that was like sick. This other dude, he tells me that he murdered his fucking stepfather. Which was like, damn nigga, he's stone cold killer. And yeah. So later I find out how the prison works, that you could get like fucking tobacco for trading stuff, like food you don't like or something like that. Somebody else likes, they'll give you a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of papers, and a little bit of cardboard so you could make like the filters or whatever. So from every meal I got like fucking vegetables and shit that I didn't like let's say tomatoes and stuff, and I would trade the tomatoes for that. And then found out that dudes were playing poker for fucking tobacco and shit. Let me move out to the light because it's getting real dark. Sit against the wall. And yeah. So I figured out a way that I could like help my fucking smoking addiction and shit. And started trading as much and stuff. And then I was playing pool, table tennis and stuff. And won a lot of fucking tobacco by playing that. Now, poker, I don't know how to play poker, so I just was learning how to play poker and lost a lot of tobacco. And then I meet this one dude. He was from Portugal. He was a gypsy, and dude tells me that he didn't tell me the reason he was in there, but I was like, this nigga did some shit. He was like tatted and shit. He had like neck tats and shit. He was like full body tats. And then he had like 2 tears here, like one of them Latino killer motherfuckers. And he was like great and shit. And one thing that scared me of the nigga was this one dude, gay looking dude. He was like dancing around him. And then the dude was like telling him like, to get the fuck away from him. I wouldn't fuck with that dude, even though the nigga's like 4'2", Kevin Hart size. And this dude was dancing around him and shit, and little fucking Portuguese guy gets the fuck up and knocks the nigga out cold. The prison guards come in, just collect this dude off the floor, all bloody and shit, knock the fuck out and stuff. And they don't say one word to this nigga that knocked that nigga out. And that was like fucking cool. I was like, damn, I got a cool ass friend. Nobody gonna mess with me. And later, I spored that same dude. So I had a great advantage over him is because I got fucking long ass arms and I'm 6'2", and it was pretty tight. But I had a bloody eye after the nigga whacked me. Or was it the other dude? It was one of two dudes that hit me so hard that like all of the fucking blood vessels in my eyes popped and shit. Was there any interesting things? Yeah, and then later, these dudes approached me asking me like, why am I talking to the police and stuff? And I talked to the police normally like I did with all the other inmates and shit. And they thought I was a snitch and shit. They asked me like, are you talking to the cops and stuff? No, I said like, nigga, I'm talking to them because they human beings like us. And I said, I mean, I ain't got a purpose on, I mean, I ain't got no use from snitching on nobody. And plus I'm with two Nigerian dudes that don't do shit. They old men and stuff. And yeah, they find out I'm not a snitch. I'm a cool ass gangster ass nigga. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of the story. And so yeah, the last day I was there, I kind of actually no. So yeah, let me get to the point. I finally, after like 30 some hours, got the right to call my family back home and stuff. And the only number I knew was my mother's number. So I call try and call my number because I got this card and shit. And the card failed. So I went over to the prison guards, asked them to fix this shit. And after quite a few hours, I get the call. I call my mother. And I thought she was going to be worried and stuff. And like asked me if I'm alive and shit. And then she picks up. I say, I tell her my story and stuff, like I ended up in prison. And then she tells me, like, I know. I was like, what the fuck, nigga? Like, how do you know? And then she was like, so chill. Well, I contacted the embassy and stuff, and they figured out where you are and stuff. It was all cool and stuff. I was like, oh no, what the fuck? I wasn't actually crying. And yeah, that was fucking fucked up. I thought she was gonna be all panic attack and stuff, and yeah, but it didn't turn out. So yeah, the last day I was there, I tried doing as much as possible, talking to everybody, trying to remember everybody's name in case they would get out so I could add them and stuff, but I'm a blonde bitch and I forgot most of it. And yeah, so night falls. I know I'm leaving pretty soon. I fall asleep. Actually, first talk to that Prince and Mohammed, and had fucking great conversation. I go to sleep, and then sometimes in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m., cops come, tell me that I gotta leave in half an hour and stuff. So I collect all the shit I had there to keep as souvenirs and stuff. And yeah, I lost that fucking ID I had, but I still remember my prison number, 112183. And yeah, I felt sad, like looking back at that Prince and Mohammed, like they stand there in the cell and I'm going and shit. I felt kind of heartbroken and stuff because I kind of got attached, you know. I get attached pretty quickly and stuff. And yeah, finally I get taken after half an hour or so. They give me my clothes back. I take off that prison attire, like a green shirt, therefore like a gray pullover sweater and gray track pants, and that shit was cool. And I had my boots on, and that was like fucking lit. Like, damn, I would wear that shit all day, every day. And yeah, I put my shit on. I wait next to this booth, and then finally the cops arrive. put me in the van, take me to the airport. I wait for the plane to arrive. They put me on the plane, give my passport. Actually, they was holding me in the fucking airport for quite a while. So I asked these dudes at the airport, cops, and I asked them if I could get my cigarettes and stuff. And they asked me if I'm hungry, if I want anything. Yeah, I tell them I'm hungry. They asked me, what do I want to eat? I said, anything's good, but I can't eat pork and stuff. So they bring me fucking eggs and hash browns. Hash browns was so fucking lit. The eggs was shit, but the hash browns was good. And they brought me black tea. 2 cups of black tea from the airport cafeteria or whatever. I drank the first tea, therefore I asked for my cigarettes. They let me out of the fucking cell so I could grab my fucking smokes from my bag. I get my smokes, they tell me, like, do not smoke in that fucking main area of that, like, room or cell, whatever. Because there is cameras there, you know. They tell me go to the bathroom and make sure you wrap the cigarette butts in the toilet paper and then flush them down so we wouldn't get in trouble. Me and them. Yeah, that was like so fucking gangster. So finally I get on the plane, get back to Croatia. Now I'm gonna leave that story for another time about my experience in Croatia and how I got back home. Basically, I was left with little to no money and had to find my way back. And I'll leave that for the next time. And yeah, one of the favorite things that I still eat that I remember from prison is we got boiled eggs. I think it was cream or mayo, onions, and what was the other thing? And yeah, green salad. And so we would like get these like 1 foot pieces of bread and stuff, and would make sandwiches from that. And that was fucking like great, and I still eat that till this day because it's so fucking tasty, even though it's like cheap to make and stuff. And yeah, so let me wrap this video up. And this is one of the souvenirs I have from that prison. I don't know if y'all can see anything because it's pretty fucking wasted. But this is a little bit of info on me about being in prison and stuff. And because the prison inmates was getting like 12 euros a week, they just gave me like money for 1 day or something like that. So I got €1.70. I gave away a few coins. I have, I think, like 3 or 4 more left. So this I will give away if somebody wants. I mean, leave a comment down below, and I'll choose a few people and then give away the coins because they mean a lot to me. And this envelope means a lot to me because it's history, you know. So yeah, that was my story about ending up in prison. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.